So I've spent hundreds of hours with multiple six and seven figure earners, and I've been quite surprised at what I've learned from them and just having conversations with them, whether that's in a business setting or a mastermind or just out for lunch. And it's been really, really interesting to see, and I've learned a lot, and I want to share that in this video. So at first, when I was, getting into this space and, doing everything I could to put myself out there to get into rooms with people doing much, much bigger things than I was, I really was under the illusion that there was some secret strategy, some secret magic formula that I just wasn't aware of. And once I got that, I was good. I was able to just scale to the moon, baby. That was my idea. Now, what I learned was that it's much deeper than that. And that's really what led me to the work that I do today because of really these insights I was able to gather from, collaborating and working with these people. And what's fascinating about it is, yes, there is strategy. Yes, there is tactics. And yes, there's things that you need to learn. Like that's not important. It absolutely is. And you got to be able to do that and execute on it. But how you execute on it, how you think about it, and how you show up within the execution itself is the thing that really, really matters. And I'm going to get into a variety of different things that are going to elaborate on that even more in this video, but that's going to be the basis of where we're really headed with this video. So I have a couple of notes here that I want to make sure I run through so that you get the most out of this video, because what my core desire was in coming in contact with these people was learning like what was the thing that made them different. Like how did they approach life? How did they think? How did they operate within the business energetically, spiritually, mentally, and all the different things that come with self-mastery. And because I thought that it was one secret strategy or one secret way of operating or working harder, as most people would agree with, I started to learn that, yes, of course, it was about that to a degree, but not what these people really prioritized. Like that's not really what it was about. And the problem that I faced myself, but also saw within many people that I was talking to who weren't at that stage yet, was they thought that it was about doing more. And I was under the same illusion. But it's not about doing more. It's more about doing more from a more intentional and aligned place and more of a strong masculine energy that comes from that execution and production and structure. So less about just being relentless and taking all the action in the world just for the sake of taking action, but more about taking action from a place of alignment and a place of intention, and understanding that what you're doing has a purpose to it. And it's not just about doing more for the sake of doing it. Now, of course, there's some stages of business that I learned where you do need to just kind of throw some stuff at the wall for a little bit to figure out what works and what is in alignment. But when you do find that thing, it's about being very intentional about how you operate within that as well and being mindful of what that means for your brand, your business, your marketing, and also just how you're showing up within the business as well. So from that, I learned that most people then stay stuck because they operate from a place of fear and uncertainty and scarcity rather than a place of confidence, clarity, conviction, and really just a more abundant state overall. Not because they lack skills, because they are coming from a different type of energy. Hopefully that makes sense. So then one of the biggest takeaways from me with this was that success comes from really working in alignment with your true purpose, that thing you feel called to do. And then within that, managing your energy so that you can show up with power, strength, and courage within the intentional action that you take for that purpose, but also being able to integrate it into relationships, your health, and your emotional well-being and everything that comes with that. It's not just about how the business is going, it's about how you're going within your life. And I can't tell you the amount of conversations I've had with, some guys who are doing even pushing 8 figures a year, where yes, they have an amazing business and they're thriving financially, but in terms of relationships and health, it's just not the case. And personally, when I was able to witness that, and I was much younger than these people, thankfully, so I was able to learn from it. I never want to be in a position where I'm making a ton of money, but my relationships suck. I've never wanted to be in a position where I've no idea how to talk to a woman or to get into a relationship or show up in a powerful way in that area, or have my health suffer or my body or physical appearance suffer as well as part of that. So the ones who are really doing very well are the ones who have integrated these different areas. Of course, not everything is perfect. We're not striving for perfection, but we are striving to fill up these different buckets that we have as part of our life to really live a great life and not just become financially successful as well. Because again, with everything that I'm sharing here, for whatever reason, the circles that I'm a part of, alignment, intention, and working with your energy and your self-mastery is a core thing and a core theme across all the different areas. I know that there's a lot of people who would disagree with everything that I'm saying here, and it's just they would have the opinion that you just work harder and they will be very successful with that. So that's not saying that that's wrong or right. I just have a different perspective on it based on the circles that I'm in and the people that I've communicated with, because I think it's far more than just making money. If the goal was simply just to make money, then you can do that and throw out everything that we're talking about here. But you'll likely be very unfulfilled. You'll likely be feeling a certain way that you won't be very happy with. You're likely that the other parts of your life won't be as strong. And I don't know if that's worth just more money, personally. So I've been able to kind of pick up on some of these things that people have said, and by communicating with these people, been able to pull out the wisdom that comes from that, so I don't have to go off and make those same mistakes. But again, that's totally down to yourself of whether you want to proceed with that or not. But if you're watching this video, you're likely interested in this type of way of being, especially when it comes to this channel overall. So as I was speaking with these people and integrating these different things I was learning, there was a couple of things I put in place to be able to make sure that I stay on that path as well, which was clarity of purpose, was number one. Where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? What do I feel called to do? Because alignment, I've talked about this in other videos, where it's like it's kind of this fine balance between what is your calling, what is the thing that you feel called to do, but also where is the areas of resistance and uncertainty that you may have to lean into, and then just finding that period in the middle where you can kind of balance between those two, where there's enough resistance to give you that uncertainty to be able to carve a new path for yourself that's different to other people, but also feeling excited and aligned with it, as in like this is what you're meant to be doing. So getting clear on that has been a big thing. The next thing that is prioritizing alignment and intentional action over mindless hustle and just taking action for the sake of taking action. If I feel like there is nothing to take action on and there's nothing for me to really do today, I'm not going to do anything. If you think about it this way, an ascended master, somebody who is very, very tapped in spiritually, and they're sitting there and they're meditating, they're connected with God, and they are really living from a very profound place in terms of their internal state. Are they just going to randomly take action on things that they don't feel aligned with or haven't received guidance to actually go and execute on? Likely not. They're not going to do that. They're not going to scramble around and just do things for the sake of working just to satisfy their ego. They're not going to do that. So I prioritize alignment over hustle based on these conversations as well. The next thing then is high vibrational leadership. So this is more talking about the divine masculine energy when it comes to leadership that I've mentioned in other videos, but I'll recap on a couple of things here. So some of the things are intentional growth of the business. So really being intentional, we talked about that. Solution focused execution, which is just seeing a problem, seeing it as neutral, and then just solving it. Like, it doesn't have to be this thing you react to or you resent or you respond to in a negative way. Another thing is applying feedback that you get from other people, and not being, in your emotions and feeling like people are attacking you just because they've told you a certain thing about yourself that you may not have noticed. Actually applying that where it feels aligned. Next thing then is seeing yourself as a leader, having other people see you as a leader. Another thing is holding people accountable, naturally motivating people and being influential because you're holding a higher frequency of love, compassion, strength, structure, courage, and all the things we talk about on this channel. Next thing then is your inspiring performance. So people will naturally want to work harder for you because of the energy that you hold and the frequency that you operate from, because they feel like they can trust you. You can lead them. You can be that person for them in terms of the vision that you're operating within and they're helping you execute on. And then the next thing then is just being able to have tough conversations, direct, logical communicator, things like that. Seen as a coach, seen as a teacher, seen as someone who is open, receptive, and just overall encourages collaboration and creates a great environment for people to be in. So that's one of the biggest things when it comes to high vibrational leadership. The next thing then is investing in growth. So some of the biggest things I learned from these people is that investing in yourself, right? As cliche as it is, everybody says you have to invest in yourself. There's a reason for it, because when you invest in yourself, you're investing in your growth, your skill set, and you immediately increase the perception that you have of yourself within the marketplace because you've invested a large amount of money in yourself. I've invested so much money in myself at this point where I'm very, very comfortable asking people for a large sum when it comes to the services that I offer, because I'm very comfortable doing that for other people. I understand that what goes around comes around, cause and effect. So investing in yourself is not only just important for your skill set, but it's important for your perception of money and perception of yourself as well within the market. So that's another thing I saw that these people did: going to masterminds, investing in coaching, one-to-one coaches, group programs, anything that's going to help them better themselves, but also being very intentional with it, not just working with everyone for the sake of working with everyone, being very intentional with who they work with and why they're working with those people, and running the course and sticking it out on a particular project that they're working on. Next thing then is intentional relationships. So spending time with people who are going to help you elevate, being very, clear about who you want to hang around with or who you don't want to hang around with. Just because someone is making a lot of money doesn't mean that they're a great person to hang around with. I've met many people who make a ton of money, but I personally just would never spend time with them because of how they see the world, how they see themselves, their values just don't align. That's totally fine. It's not right or wrong. But money does not equal the quality of the person or their values, because you can make money in a variety of different ways. It doesn't always come from a place of high vibration, a place of alignment, and a place of like strong character and values. It can come from a very scarcity driven place and just energy I don't want to be around. So I've experienced that. Being very intentional about the relationships that you have, and also then how you show up within those relationships as well, is very powerful. So there's some of the things that I made sure I had taken note of so that I could execute that in my own life as well. So with this, I really was having these conversations with people, and of course there was a lot of doubt in my mind as well, because I was kind of thinking, okay, yeah, this sounds great, but how do I really integrate this? Of course, like I had the plan in place, like I mentioned, but there was still a lot of doubt there. There was still a lot of like, is this going to work? How does this actually work within my life? And I kept asking myself, like, how does focusing on my purpose, how does focusing on healing, how does focusing on this internal mastery really translate into money? And that's what really started this whole cycle of trying to make sure that I understood how self-mastery and, dissolving dense emotions, healing, working on your mindset correlates into money. But not just money that you enjoy making, money that's in alignment, money that's purposeful, and you feel like you're getting compensated by the universal fund of the universe for the work that you're doing because you're focused on the work. So that's been a journey I've been on. And after I was able to really integrate that into my business, where we started tracking things like decreases in procrastination for clients, decreases in overthinking and feelings of being anxious or fear, feelings of self-doubt, decreasing those things, and then increasing alignment, checking in with these different things, helping them find direction, clarity, purpose, direction, feelings of feeling unbreakable, tapping into the identity of the modern master, which we talk about on this channel. When we started tracking these things, we started to see the correlation between the reduction in things like fear and anxiety or doubt or procrastination or any of these things, or self-sabotage, and the increase in alignment, purpose, clarity, feelings of being unbreakable. And we saw that correlation to income. I was like, okay, now we're piecing it all together. And you can see some of these posts on my Instagram. If you go to my pinned post, you'll be able to see some of those stats there. They're really cool. So definitely check those out if you're wondering what I'm talking about. But that was my indication as to how I can correlate this to money. And once I started doing that within my own business and my own life, and then doing that for clients as well, we were able to see the direct correlation, which is really powerful. So now I'm kind of at a point where I'm working less hours, hustling less, have more clarity on my purpose, who I want to attract into my business, clients, partners, potential, collaborations and partnerships and things like that, as well as just who would be a right fit for that and who wouldn't be and who I hang around with. And then that shift allowed me to just be able to make more money, but make more money in a way that is more aligned. It just feels more exciting. It's more like flow. It's less friction, less grind and hustle, and more intention behind it, which has been really powerful. Because I just really enjoy it. I enjoy being here with you right now because this is a big part of the business as well. I love making YouTube videos. So I guess to summarize in a couple of key points, what we want to look at is, do we have clarity and alignment with our direction and purpose and where we're going? And am I creating a business because I think it's the business that I need to create because it's going to give me the success and finances that I want? Or do I feel this deeper sense of a calling to be able to show up in this way? And does that bring a sense of resistance and uncertainty that I kind of need to step into to be able to carve this new way while still modeling people who have been successful in different areas and apply that to my new path that I'm paving the way for myself? So clarity, alignment, purpose, direction is really important. It's kind of a non-negotiable when it comes to what I've learned with this. And the more that we tap into that, the more that we can really build a holistically successful life, not just financially. And one way you can do this to bring a little bit more practicality to it is to literally just ask yourself, like, does the current work that you're doing, do you feel aligned with it? Do you align with the current work that you're doing right now? Or is there something that could be done better, could be done differently, could be tweaked, could be changed, could be small, could be big, could be a completely new direction? Who knows? I've done that in the past as well, where I've changed direction completely because it was out of alignment. How can you start to then build in that direction and understand that you'll make more money because of it as well, but also it'll be coming from a stronger place. You'll be more fulfilled, more excited. And when you're on this journey of self-mastery as well, and you're going internal, you're asking yourself those deeper questions that we talk about on this channel, that will come from a very powerful place. Like those powerful leadership qualities that we talked about earlier, you'll come from that place. It'll be very strong. It'll be magnetic. People want to be around that. Very, very easy to attract dream clients that way. All my business comes through inbound, right? We put stuff out there in terms of content and ads at times as well, but a lot of it comes through inbound. Okay. So with that being said, the next thing then is really energy and leadership matter more than tactics and strategies. Okay. Obviously, tactics and strategies, we need them. We need something to execute on. Keep it simple, right? You need traffic. You need to nurture people. You need a conversion system. All that's very, very obvious. And once you know the basics of that, you can start to build that into your business. Of course, getting familiar with those skills is very important. And that's why, with clients, I help them with that area as well, specifically if they don't have that kind of simplicity to their business. But the energy that you bring to those strategies, matters more than the actual tactics themselves. And then showing up as this leader that we talked about earlier is going to help you embody that energy going forward, so that again you become magnetic to dream clients. People want to work for you, they want to work hard for you as well, and you are not just naturally able to influence and motivate people in a direction based on the vision that you're building. It's really, really powerful. The next thing then is balancing strategic work with inner work, right? Both very important work, but it's kind of like the 80-20, right? The strategy is at 20%. You know the strategy, you execute on it. There's times to produce, there's times to do that. But when we grow as human beings and as entrepreneurs, the inner work is what matters the most. So doing the shadow work, dissolving dense emotions, becoming more spiritual and understanding what that means for you and finding your path that way so that you can connect to something bigger than yourself and feel like you're not alone in this world, right? Working with people to help guide you in that area is a key thing to do as well. If you want to do that with me, check out some of the links in the description. And also then balancing that with being able to execute, being a producer, because there's also a world where you can get very spiritual and just sit around and meditate and hope that things come to you. But that's not how the world works. We live in a world where you need to be in the trenches and working and building, but doing it from an aligned place spiritually, place of strength, power, courage that we've talked about in leadership as well. So balancing those two is very, very important. And that's something I've learned from hanging around with a variety of these different people. And the more that we do this, the more that we raise in consciousness, the more that we bring better services and products to the world. And by doing that, we just allow for so much beautiful things to happen within the world because we're the ones who are creating businesses. That trickles into the people we serve. That trickles into the people that they interact with. That trickles into the people that they interact with. And it's just a knock-on effect. So as entrepreneurs, it's our duty and our more like we should be morally accountable to the fact that this work matters. Internal mastery, balancing that with strategic action is the way. It's what matters the most. And suppressing emotions, suppressing feelings, and not addressing things is not the way anymore. It's a way of the past. We don't need to come from that place anymore. Internal mastery is the way. I'm balancing that with the strategic work. So the practical tip with this is to allow time for both strategy and also just spending time with the rest, spending time in meditation, spending time having fun as well. I think we can have more fun in business. I think that would bring a higher state of frequency just to everything that we do. Fun is a natural part of life. It doesn't have to be this big, massive grind. Something it took me a long time to learn. So doing those things as well as emotional healing, breath work, meditation, you know, whatever you feel called to explore in that area, going deep within yourself, working with someone to help you in this area to be able to identify these things, dissolve them, clear them, remove them, and elevate in the process as well. Really, really powerful. So I guess if you want to go deeper on some of these things, check out some of the recommended videos that are coming up on screen right now. If you want to work with myself personally, check out the first link in the description. You'll be able to get more information there as well as all the different free resources we have. Because I understand that, self-mastery, everything that we're talking about right here, can seem like it's a bit up in the air. So I do have a couple of different resources that keep it really, really simple for you that you can check out in the links in the description below. Thank you for being here. This has been Jordan, sending you love, and I'll chat to you soon.